Hey everyone, what I'd like to do in this video is talk about Masternodes and talk about the dark side of them. Talk about these scam coins, Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes. You know, Masternodes can be a good thing. They can be a good thing. You know, look at projects like Zencash and Dash and, you know, many other projects like that have added Masternodes to help secure the network. It is something that can improve a coin and, you know, it really helps the project. But with these new coins being added, and you'll see them listed on Bitcoin Talk in the altcoin announcement forum, they are Masternode coins, but they're coins that don't really have a purpose, and the Masternodes are really just a way to disguise what they are. And what they are, in my opinion, is a glorified Ponzi scheme, a glorified pyramid scheme, whatever you want to call it. It's a way for people to scam people out of money, and it's becoming very, very common. So I want to talk about the warning signs. I want to talk about what to look for and talk about why, you know, with any normal project, the price starts low and then it goes up. With these pump and dump Masternode coins, the coins are actually starting high and then they're going down. So when I talk about Masternode coin, what am I talking about? Well, go to Bitcoin Talk, look down the forum, and you'll see lots of threads about Masternode coins. And these coins have a Masternode as part of the block reward. Now, this is one of the areas which I don't like, because the block reward is very biased towards people with Masternodes. I've seen it where, you know, for example, one of the common splits is that the block reward will give 75% to the Masternodes and 25% to miners. And I've been invited to, you know, to mine some of these coins, and I've said to them, listen, I'm not mining this coin. You know, there's no benefit for me to mine it. There's a few things you should look out for, though. You know, just as I've said many times, if you're mining a new coin or buying a new coin, you always have to do, you know, your due diligence. You need to do your research. If you look at these coins, you do start to see a pattern. So what I've noticed, you know, and one of the kind of warning signs and the flags that pop up for me right away is that when you go to the website and you look at the white paper, the website and the white paper, they talk a lot about Masternodes. They talk a lot about your return. And, you know, it's all focused on the return and how much money you'll make. There's actually, you know, we did a live stream and we looked at all these new coins, and I think it was about 80-90% of them didn't even talk about what the coin was for, what the project was for. There was no plans as to what they're going to implement 3 months, 6 months, or a year down the line. In my eyes, they weren't even hiding the fact that it was a scam. You know, they were just talking about your returns as a miner, as someone who invests in a Masternode. And that is a telltale sign. Now, that might not always be a sign, because these people aren't idiots, these people that are setting these things up. And over time, if people realise that, you know, there's no vision, there's no roadmap, there's nothing like that, there's nothing saying, hey, we're going to implement this and this and this, which granted, they could say that and not do it. But I think when people learn, you know, when these scammers learn that people are maybe examining things a little bit more closely, then they'll just add fake things to the white paper. But there are many things, you know, if you're thinking about mining a coin which is a Masternode or a new coin, or you're thinking about buying some coins or investing in it to get a Masternode, there are some things that you will notice. Now, if you look at the image below, what you will see is what I think is very common. You will see the price of a Masternode coin, and within about 3 weeks, the price will crash. So an example that I've got down below, and I don't want to talk about specifics here, because I could talk about 100 coins. I could talk about 100 what I consider to be pump and dump Masternode coins that you could look on Bitcoin Talk. You will see lots of them. I don't want to single any one out, because if I say, hey, this project's like this project's like that, all I'm going to get is lots of comments from people saying, no, that project's legit. I don't want to get into that argument. I want to talk general. And generally what you see is that the price of the coin is around, you know, day one, start of the month, could be 30,000 Satoshis, 40,000 Satoshis. An example below, it's 32,000 Satoshis at the start of July, which is around, I think it's about $2.60 or so. Right now, it's about 480 or about 500 or so, which is 4 cents. So going from $2.60 per coin to 4 cents per coin in just a few weeks, that's not a good sign. But if you actually look at all these Masternode coins, they're actually all following this same pattern. Now, I'm sure some of you might say, you know, this coin's got Masternodes, it's a brand new one and it's legit and the price is going up. Fine. But if you pick up 100 coins that are set up the way, I'm going to explain it in detail, but if you pick 100 of these Masternode coins, then I reckon you might get 2 or 3 which are actually legit projects. But the rest of them, they're scams and they're designed to get to make money, to take your money and to make it easy to leave the project. Now, if you actually go to the Discord group or Telegram for any of these coins, and when you're there at the first week, you know, when it's at 30,000, 40,000 Satoshis per coin, like a few dollars a coin is quite a lot for a brand new project. Day 1, day 2, the coin is valued at, well, I say valued, it's artificially valued at that price, which I'll go into. But, you know, the coin is valued at $2 or $3. And, you know, like any new project, when you look in the Discord, when you look at the community, it's all hope. Everyone's happy, everyone's confident, everyone's looking forward to the future, everyone's optimistic. But then a week later, drops from about 30,000 Satoshis, it might go to 20,000, it might go to 15, it might go down to 10,000. This is when people panic. And I've talked about this before. I looked at a coin, I was thinking about mining it, and I looked in the Discord, and it was the first week. They still didn't have the white paper, they still didn't have the roadmap, they still didn't have the wallet tweaked, there was lots of bugs. No one was talking about that. No one was talking about the project. No one knew what the project was or what it was going to do. Everyone was panicking about the price and they were all saying, no, it should be okay, it should be okay. We expected a dip. You expected a dip. The coin launched at $2, $3 and now has been down to like $1 or 70 cents or something. And they're panicking. Now, what happens after that? Well, a couple of weeks down the line, you can see it in the graph. What happens is, it starts at 30,000, it goes down, it goes down, and it goes down. It's only going one way. It really is only going one way. And again, there's always exceptions to this. I'm sure there are some projects out there, but a lot of the ones I've been looking at follow this same pattern. And after just 2 or 3 or maybe 4 weeks, they go down to like 1,000 Satoshis or 500 Satoshis. And what you've got at that point, well, you've got a very easy exit. You've got a very easy exit. You know, if I started one of these pump and dump Masternode coins, and I'm using quotations to be cool, but if I started one of these projects, you know, I would remain anonymous because everyone seems to be anonymous right now, despite the fact you're asking for thousands of dollars of investment. But if you're anonymous and you've went from 30,000 Satoshis down to like 500, it's very easy at that point to say, thanks guys, we appreciate your support, but you know, things haven't gone our way. But thanks for your support. If anyone wants to take up the project, you know, they're free to do it. And then they go to another project. Project 2, Project 5, Project 10, wash, rinse, repeat. Now, you know, you might think I'm being a little bit negative here. I'm being a little bit hard on some of these projects, but I'm not. I'm not being hard enough. The guys that are running these projects are scumbags. And, you know, they might masquerade themselves as legitimate projects, but for me, it's idiotic because it's short-sighted because there's so much money, you know, for developers of a project. If they think about it long term, they can become millionaires. But these people are thinking in 2 and 3 and 4 week blocks, and they're just thinking, get the money anonymously, get out, start another one, go on to Bitcoin Talk, do another announcement. You know, I've talked about transparency. I really don't want to invest in any project where the owners are anonymous. And to be honest, I'm leaning towards I don't even want to mine any project where the team is anonymous. People always use Bitcoin as an example. You know, you don't need privacy is important and all that, but I want to know who's behind the project. And it's very easy to exit a scam when no one knows who you are, where you're from. They don't even know what language you speak. You could be, you know, just speak broken English and you could be using a translator. So let's go back to the start. Let's go back to Bitcoin Talk. And let's think about how these coins, how these projects are set up. So here's what happens. They go into Bitcoin Talk, they launch their coin, they've got Discord links and all that. They are listed, nearly all of these new projects are listed on an exchange on day 1 or they're not within the first week or maybe 2 weeks. But quite a lot of them, this is a warning sign for me. Day 1, not even 1 block, and they're on CryptoBridge or they're on some other exchange. CryptoBridge seems to be the place where all these coins are being listed. So the very, very first day that the coin is launched and it's already on an exchange. Let that sink in. Block 1, the coin is on an exchange. Block 1. Now that to me is ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. When I'm looking at projects, I want at least a proof of work mining period of 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year. But these coins have a proof of work period, sometimes of 0 minutes. There are some of these coins being launched on Bitcoin Talk, and on block 1, Masternodes are activated. Block 1. And I've seen this with a few coins. I talked about it with, I think, I will use one example because it was live and you guys saw it. But with MCT, I did a live stream about it. And on block 1, Masternodes were activated. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, because all it does is give all the money, all the early coins, which sometimes are set up to have a high block reward. It gives them all to the developers or to early investors or their friends or whoever. Very, very unfair. And you have to remember, cryptocurrency shouldn't be about, centralizing wealth. You need to give everyone a crack of the whip. Now, some of them are 100% Masternode from block 1. Some of them are 70% Masternode from block 1 and give 30% or 25% or something like that to miners. I wouldn't mine a coin like that. Masternodes, I think, at the very least should be activated a couple of months later. That's, I strongly believe in that. I strongly believe that you need to give miners a chance to accumulate coins. And there's a lot of coins that I've looked at where they've said, hey, come and mine our coin. And 70%, you're not even at block 1000 or block 2000, and 70% of all the block rewards are going to Masternode holders, and 30% are going to miners. And I'm like, this is going to take me 2 or 3 months to mine this coin, and by that point, your project will be dead or will be abandoned. Why the hell would I mine that? I'm just not going to do it. But you have to realize that these projects are actually set up and they're designed to be like this. So what they do is, some of them will do block 1 and they'll do, it could be 100% proof of stake, 100% masternodes. I realise they're not the same thing. But it could be block 1, 100% goes to masternodes. But what I'm seeing a lot of them is block 1, 70% masternodes or 75% masternodes, and 20 or 25 to miners. So, proof of work is only 20 to 25%. Now, some of them, what they're doing, I've seen another one, and they're taking a different approach and have said, hey, we've got an exclusive proof of work mining period, and it's for the first 2,000 blocks. But those first 2,000 blocks are mined within hours or a day. And what I've seen in a few of those, I've seen this in a few different coins I was looking at the other night, is that the proof of work is exclusive for the first 2,000 coins. And you think, well, that's fair, gives everyone a chance to mine some coins. But then if you look at it, for the first 2,000 blocks, the block reward is low. So it's only like 2 coins. And then what they do is, hey, block 2,000, Masternodes are activated. Now, proof of work is still 2 coins, but Masternodes get 8. So now it's 80%, 20%. So you think you're getting a good deal, but you're not. Now, obviously, who's got these Masternodes at the start when there hasn't been enough time to actually accumulate the coins? If you look at again, to go back to Bitcoin Talk, there's, it's listed on an exchange, block 1. I can't fathom that. Sometimes they don't have a roadmap. Sometimes they don't have a white paper. But when they do it, again, they don't talk about the coin. But the big thing, and the big warning sign is that first day 1, anonymous people asking for money. They are selling coins at, for example, 0.2 Bitcoin for a Masternode. I've seen this quite a lot. 0.2 for a Masternode, 0.5 for 3 Masternodes. Maybe 1 Bitcoin would get you 7. So you get 0.2 Bitcoin would get you 1, 0.5, 3, 1 Bitcoin would get you 7. That kind of thing. So there's different variations of it. But what they're trying to do in that is, firstly, is to get money in. Some of these coins have pre-mines. They've got pre-mines of 4 or 5%, and they still ask for money for Masternodes. They're still selling coins. They're pre-selling Masternodes. And they're doing this before block 1. They're doing this before they launch, and they're doing this saying, hey, we launch in 3 days, but you can invest right now and get a Masternode so that when it activates in block 1 or block 100 or block 1000, you will earn money. So what they're doing, though, if you think about it, is 1, they're pre-selling coins for a project which is anonymous, doesn't have a roadmap or white paper, and when they do, it's normally garbage. But what they are doing, if you read between the lines, is they are artificially setting the price. They're saying, hey, if it works out at 30,000 Satoshis per coin, so it's like $2.50 or something like that. But we reckon it's going to be 100,000 Satoshis for the coin. We've did our calculations, based on the max supply and all these other things. So you're going to get a bargain, and you're also going to get, a high percentage of the block reward over the first few weeks, because everyone else hasn't had a chance to accumulate coins. Now, I saw someone mining, and I was asking about it was a certain project, and I was asking about mining, and then I said, why is this on an exchange already? And they said there was one of them that was on an exchange, and again, it was like 30,000 Satoshis on the first day. There was another one that they were getting added to an exchange. I think they said it was getting added within the next week, and they were saying, well, we're pre-selling Masternodes to fund an exchange listing. Okay, sounds legit. But then they said, but if you look in the Discord, everyone's buying coins for like 40,000 Satoshis each. But this is the thing, guys. They're artificially creating a market, and that's not how it works. The market creates it, supply and demand creates it. But what they're doing is, instead of doing an ICO, they're saying, hey, we can give you 30,000 of our coins for only, a few $1,000s. It's a bargain. You'll make a huge amount of money. But what they're doing is, but what this does, if you think about it, is it sets up Masternode holders to try and break even as soon as possible. And some of these Masternode coins, the initial investors or the developers or whoever gets in early, that sometimes they do well, but they're breaking even in like 5 days. It's the people that come a few days later, those guys get screwed. It's a typical pyramid scheme. If you're in early, you might make money. If you're in a little bit late, you probably won't make much, or you could get screwed. But what's happening is, I've seen this a few times, people have approached me and said, hey, can you talk about a coin? Hey, can you check out this coin? And they say, it's selling at 30,000 Satoshis. I'm like, it's artificial. They've created this price out of their own. Now, the cryptocurrency world, when it comes to markets, hype means everything. It doesn't matter if it's a brand new coin on day one or an established coin. Hype is a big thing. But over time, it becomes less about promises and potential, and it becomes more about features and functionality. But at the start, hype is a big thing, and it's the main driving force behind the price of a coin. But if you look at it, all these coins, the Masternode coin holders, they'll be getting a lot of block rewards, like from the very first day. And they've also got an exchange to sell those coins. So they want to get rid of all the coins they can until they hit their break-even point. So what happens? Well, look at the graph again. If you look at the graph, what you have is 40,000 Satoshis, whatever it may be. But what you've got is a lot of people who've invested in Bitcoin, and what they need to do now is break even. So you have a huge number of people selling coins. Now, at the very start, in the first week of a project, you will get people who there is a demand for Masternodes. There's people who want to buy a Masternode. So if you go to get, hey, a Masternode, that'd be great. It works out, I don't know how much it could be. It does vary. But say you want to invest in a Masternode, the coins are on exchange. It's only a block, 2,000 or 3,000. You could jump in and be one of the early adopters. So you start buying coins. But every day that passes, there's less demand for Masternodes. And because there's no miners, mining the coin, there's very little incentive for a miner to mine the coin, then you don't have anyone mining and then selling the coin. All you've got is people who were believing the hype, and they've tried to buy a Masternode, and then when they've got the Masternode, they're selling the coins. You've got more people selling, you've got less people with any incentive to buy, because the nature of the beast is that some other new, shiny, fancy new coin has been announced on Bitcoin Talk. All those people that were hyped about it the first week are starting to move to the next one. So all these people are selling, no one's buying, price goes down. And that's what's happening, guys. That's what's happening. They're artificially creating a price. They're saying, this is the price of which we want to sell our coins. But it's not based on anything. It's based on thin air. And, after a week or two, it becomes apparent that the project doesn't have anything behind it. It's just a storefront. It's like it's like if you go to North Korea and you see one of those fake stores with nothing behind it, that's what it's like. It's artificial. It doesn't exist. They've tried to create their own market. They're trying to define their own price at the very start of the project, which does work for the first few days or the first week or even the first 2 or 3 weeks. But after a while, when people realize that there's nothing to the project and all it is just people with Masternode trying to sell their coins, then the price is going to go down. So I know all you guys know about this, and you know that this is what happens. But if you're looking on Bitcoin Talk, it is getting harder to find a legitimate project. Look at these coins, guys. Join the Discord, follow them. You'll see that in the Discord, no one is actually asking questions about what's going to happen, about what the coin is for. Most of the discussions are about profits. They're about getting a return. It's about, getting a return for the money and breaking even. But I find it quite interesting, the psychology of all this though as well, because in the first week everyone's confident, everyone's optimistic, but panic does set in like a week or two later. When the price starts going down, when people should be asking, could we add this to the wallet? Could we do this? Could we add this functionality? This would be really cool. People are talking about the coin's price, and they're panicking, absolutely panicking, because the price is in free fall. And it's telling that some of the people in the first week that are so enthusiastic about the project, sometimes those people are the people that are so angry and so frustrated and telling everyone it's a scam to get out. And, they quickly lose belief. And, once the hype's gone, the hype's gone. So what do you need to look for, guys? Just a quick summary. If you go to Bitcoin Talk, be very cautious of anyone who's selling or pre-selling coins for their project. They might disguise it and say, hey, we're doing this for a funding for an exchange. We might doing all this kind of thing. But they're doing it before they get the fundamentals right, like a good working website and wallet and, the white paper, all these things that should be in place. They also should have at least some sort of healthy period of mining to bring people in. If you've only got people that are investing in the coin, I'm not saying that a 100% proof of stake or 100% Masternode coin doesn't work, but you really do need people to support the project long term. And the nature of the way that these things are set up is that if you're not in there in the first week, then you're not part of the members only club and you're screwed. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting. I'm sure many of you know that this is the way that it's set up. But if you're looking to buy a Masternode or something like that, I would lean towards maybe taking a safer approach and going for an established project, a legit project. It can be very enticing, and you maybe look at some of these Masternode websites and going, wow, 1,000% return and all that. But you need to be very, very careful. A lot of these coins are set up to screw people at the bottom. And, you've got the developers, the founder at the top, you've got some of the initial investors that might make their money back. But below that, you've got a lot of people selling the coin, and you've got a development team or a project that really don't even want to support the project. They just want to move on to the next one because they want to wash, rinse, repeat. And don't send thousands of dollars to people that you don't know, guys. I mean, it sounds simple, it sounds obvious, but there's people out there investing in projects and sending money, Bitcoin, to people. There's no contract, there's no face, there's nothing. And if they screw you over, what can you do? So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Cheers, guys.